Hey everyone, it's James, FitRV. Today I want to talk about tire pressure monitoring systems. Now, we have always rolled with one in our RV. It just seems like a smart and safe and pretty easy thing to do. We started off with a tire tracker, and that worked fine for us for a number of years until it broke. And then we replaced that with a TireMinder, and that's what we've been using in Lance up until now. But there have always been a couple little things with the TireMinder that kind of bugged, and that's kind of left me open to evaluating a new tire pressure monitoring system. Well, the folks at Truck System Technologies sent me their RV TPMS to evaluate, and so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you kind of what I didn't like about the TireMinder, and then we'll go into the install of this, and then I'll take a quick drive just to kind of give it a once-over, and I'll probably be taking Lance to get washed. So let's head inside and I'll show you what's in the boxes. All right, sorry about the mess. I'm building a new table. Anyway, so the TireMinder, things that bugged about the TireMinder. So this came with a repeater, which is good because we tow a trailer sometimes, and the repeater helps get the signal from the trailer tires all the way up front. But the repeater it came with didn't come with a fuse, and I just never installed it. I'm whining, I know. That I didn't want to have to put a fuse in there and do all this wiring project just to install it. So since I didn't install the repeater, we had to run with the antenna fully extended. And this antenna is very delicate, and we were always very, very afraid of bending it or breaking it. We never did, but it was always a concern. And then finding a place to mount it with this antenna extended all the way was kind of challenging. And so we didn't use the windshield mount. We wound up mounting it in a cup holder, but then, you know, we didn't have a cup holder. And so, yeah, I really sound like I'm whining now. I don't have a cup holder. It didn't have a fuse. Anyway. Stop. Okay, but the real issues actually came with the display. So Steph grew to hate when I would ask her what the tire pressure was in a certain tire, because you have to scroll through in a very regimented way, and it took a while, and first it shows you the temperature, then the pressure, and that just really got to annoy Steph. I thought it was funny, but it annoyed Steph. And then the last thing is when you forgot to turn this off, and since the display goes dim when it's running, you will forget to turn it off. You'll just leave it there, and then like sometimes in the night, or if you slam a door when you come back from a grocery store, it would set off an alarm, and the alarm I think was intended to have you turn this off, but really it was just sort of startling. And then the final thing is it seemed like we were a little too frequently having problems with our sensors. They're just little plastic things on the wheels, and not always, but we would frequently get a low battery, no battery kind of signal. And a warning, and most of the time it was a false and spurious warning, and so we would just leave it turned off most of the time, and a tire pressure monitor that is turned off is doing you no good at all. So those are kind of the things that we didn't like about the TireMinder, although when it worked, it was great and accurate. So now let's see if those are addressed in the TST system. So this is what it comes with, and I got a 6-sensor kit. So first there's the display, and this is like a fake display, but if we peel that off, it looks to be reasonably bright and easy to read. One thing I'm noticing right away, a little stub antenna, so I won't have any problem getting that to mount up on a windshield. That'll mount up just fine. Let's see, there's got to be, there's more than one way to mount it. There's a stand mount, which I guess if you wanted to lay it on the dash, that would work. And then there is a windshield mount. And since I don't have to worry about an antenna sticking out of this thing, this windshield mount ought to work just fine. There is a repeater, and the winner is, yes, it does have a 2-amp fuse in the repeater, so I can wire this thing in anywhere. I don't have to go all the way back to like my little fuse panel to wire it in with a fuse. That's great. The rest of the stuff, like, you know, how annoying or clumsy or easy it is to use, I won't know until we get it installed and working, so let's go ahead and get started with the install. Okay, I'm only going to show this on one of the wheels because I got 6 of them to do, but I'm going to do this once and then repeat it 5 more times. So the first step is to remove the TireMinder sensor and check the tire pressure. So, wow. Oh, and that's another cool thing. Look at the difference in size on these two sensors. So The TireMinder, this guy, uses a 1632 battery, and this one uses a 2032 coin cell battery. And as a cyclist, my world runs on 2032 batteries. I carry them all the time for all my cycling stuff, so there's that. Okay, let's check the tire pressure. We are, oh, we're good. We're at 78 PSI, it looks like. We'll call that good. All right. Okay, there's kind of a number of steps to getting the sensor programmed in, and they're not all that hard, but if you want to know what they are, just go to the manual. Basically, you press set until it beeps. There's the beep. Press this until it says learn. Great. Press set. Scroll around until you get the tire position you want. In my case, the passenger side rear inside tire. And then tighten the sensor down. Come on. And there we go. 29D5A8, I guess, is my sensor ID. Great. And so now we just repeat this on the other tires. Okay, and here is my last tire on the trailer. Now this has, just like the TireMinder did, kind of a drive-away feature, so I don't have to monitor tires on the trailer on a trip where I don't bring the trailer. All right, so here we go. And one thing I have noticed is that this sometimes takes a little while for it to read the sensor. That one didn't take too long. And set. All right, all 6 tire positions are set. Now, there's one thing. The TST system does come with like a jam nut that you can put on your valve stem so that you can secure it so that you can't just untwist it by hand. You know, if you're worried someone was going to steal it. I have elected not to use those because we've never had a problem with anyone stealing one before, and it means you also need that tool to remove the cap to put air in the tire or check the tire, so that just seemed like an unnecessary hardship. But if you were concerned about theft, I guess you would install those. All right. Check it out. I'm already getting data, even in the shop. And it's scrolling through each tire. So this means I won't have to ask Steph, hey, can I have the pressure in the right rear tire? I just wait 5 seconds and it'll get there. It seems to be scrolling through about every 5 seconds. Cool. All right, so I'm going to install the repeater back here, and I'm just going to tap onto these lugs on my inverter. And it seems kind of like overkill for installing this repeater, but since it's got its own fuse, I don't have to do anything more complicated than that. By the way, before doing anything like this, make sure your coach battery is off, which ours is, so I'm not gonna, because this is some high current potential here, so. Okay, there is a torque spec listed on this of 16 Newton meters. So I will set my torque wrench. There we go. There we go. Cover back on, and then, well, let me turn on the power first and make sure we get some lights coming out of this. Hold on. It's alive! It's alive! I'm going to turn the power back off before I touch anything near that. For best results, always use screwdrivers from Switzerland. Okay, repeater installed. So with everything installed, the only thing left to do is go for a ride. Let's test it out. So we had to make a quick pit stop at home. It seemed that some of the batteries that were in my unit were not quite up to snuff. I replaced all the batteries and boom, as soon as I did that, all the numbers started coming in. So there we go. We're just gonna drive for a while, maybe go get a drive-through coffee or something and see what we think about this thing. Okay, we've been driving around for about 20-30 minutes now, and my initial impressions are pretty positive. I love the bright display, and I love that it automatically scrolls through all the tires. Previously, when I wanted to check tire pressure, it always came with sound effects like, "Hey Steph, what's the pressure in the right rear tire?" Like that. So this doesn't have the sound effects. The temperatures seem to be pretty accurate compared to, or the pressures seem to be accurate compared to what I inflated the tires at. And they've been going up steadily as we've been driving around. The tires have been warming up. That all seems to be operating normally. But this is just like the first 20-30 minutes. So I'm sure I'll have more thoughts and impressions as I keep using the system. So I'll make updates on the post that goes along with this video on thefitRV.com. There'll be a link in the description, and that's where I'll come back and make updates as I find you know, new discoveries or, heaven forbid, problems with the TST tire pressure monitor system. But so far, we're giving it a thumbs up. This is James. We'll see you later. Bye.